Good morning. So my opening statement is either going to leave you thrilled or nauseous. I really enjoy running. But don't worry, if it left you feeling nauseous, this isn't a talk where I'm going to try and persuade you that the best thing you could do is go and run a marathon. No, I just want to let you know that I enjoy running because it's something that makes me feel good. I go early in the morning when the atmosphere is crisp and still. And if it's right, you can just see the mist rising off the fields that I run over. There are often lots of friendly dogs around who are out walking their owners, which is nice. And there are a few other runners as well, just enough to make me feel companionship and also that I'm part of a club. And I usually manage to control my breathing sufficiently so that I sound as though I'm fit and can say morning as I run past, and then exhale and cough when I'm out of hearing. Of course, there are barriers to going running early, and the main one during the spring, summer and early autumn is the getting out of bed. That's the one barrier I have, and I can usually manage to get over that. When I get to the winter, it's rather different, because there are other barriers, like it's cold, it's dark, it's wet and slippy underfoot, and quite often it can be raining, and that sort of rain which really gets into you. And I have to say, I don't say, but in spite of that, I grit my teeth and carry on in a kind of Mo Farah determination sort of way. Now, actually, when I get to that stage and there's that number of barriers, I change when I do my running. I'll either do it later in the day when it's a bit warmer and lighter, or I'll go to a gym. And I'm not that keen on gyms, but they are warm and dry in the winter. My point is that as much as I enjoy running, I still have to make sure that I've lowered the barriers as far as I possibly can in order to make sure that I keep doing it. And I do think that's often like our prayer life with God, that we think that praying to God is something where we may well enjoy it, but if there's a lot of barriers, it's something that we won't do. So when life's good, it's easy to talk to him. When life's bad, it's much more difficult. We also, of course, bring our own barriers into it with God as well. I think sometimes we feel that, in fact, for a start, we call it praying rather than just talking to God. And praying implies that we have to do something very special. Maybe we have to talk in a voice that's very posh, that we would only use if we met the Queen. Or maybe we think that we use language that we wouldn't ever use talking to any of our friends, and we have to fill it with thee or thou, or at least we have to do full sentences which are absolutely correctly conjugated. Or maybe we would feel that actually we can only really talk to God if we've fasted for 3 days and only drunk water, or perhaps been out in the desert and had eaten only locusts, or something wild and ridiculous. Or maybe above all we just feel the biggest barrier is that we're just not worthy enough for God to want to listen to us. And of course none of those things are true at all. Talking is the easiest thing that we can do to God, and he wants us to do it in the easiest way possible. So can I just encourage you this week to think of talking to God in the way of I look at running. I do enjoy it. It's great when I do it. But in order to do it, I know I have to have as few barriers as possible. So just talk to God at any time this week. Tell him what's on your mind. Don't worry about how formed or unformed your thoughts are. Don't worry about how you're feeling. Just talk to him. With all those barriers down, it'll be a really wonderful experience, and have a great week.